All right, here we go. Well, welcome everybody. Thank you guys all for taking the time to join us tonight. My name is Alyssa, and I'm the campus manager here at 4Geeks Academy. As Marcelo mentioned, I see a lot of you who have been students, or either current students or previous students, and alumni, teachers, mentors. So it's cool to see you all here. Thank you for coming. And the reason why we're here tonight is really for a few reasons. Well, if you don't know about 4Geeks Academy, we were launched in 2015, and we were a traditional, as you would call it, a coding boot camp. So we taught you how to get the skills, both the technical skills and the interview skills that you need to become a software developer. And what we taught in 2015 is very different than what we're teaching today. So it's no secret that AI is impacting a lot of tech careers and careers in general. It doesn't matter what industry you're in, the skills that companies are hiring for has changed. So if 4Geeks continued to teach what we were teaching in 2015, we would be doing a disservice to people that we were training. It was time to update our curriculum in a complete revamp sense instead of a kind of like a real-time updates that we had been doing every month or every couple of months along the way. And there are certain skills from being a software developer that are still relevant, and there are certain skills that are not so relevant anymore. So we basically took out the skills that are not so relevant anymore, and we put in new skills that were related to AI. So about a year ago, we started offering a program that we are offering still, which is called Full Stack with AI. So it's kind of a mix between the old Full Stack program and new skills that are needed now with the implementation or the wave of AI. But AI continues to impact jobs, continues to impact the skills that are needed. So now we're doing an even further transition, and we're launching a new program, which is called AI Engineering. And this program is set to kick off its first cohort later this month in March. So that meant a totally new syllabus. That meant conversing with the right subject matter experts. That meant talking to hiring partners and looking at job postings and figuring out what skills companies are really looking for. So whether you're a software developer or not, whether you work in tech or not, there are certain AI skills that you have to have. You have to know how to use AI. You have to know how you can automate tasks. You have to make yourself a more productive employee using the tools that are available to you. And there is a brand new career that didn't exist 5 years ago, which is the AI engineer. LinkedIn listed AI engineer as the #1 fastest growing job role in 2026. So we are one of the, or dare I say, the only school in America that's doing this, that's teaching these kind of AI engineering skills this early in the game. So our goal is to get our students and our alumni ahead of the skills that are needed for these roles, get you the skills that you need, and prepare you to be ready in the AI job market. So that's pretty much what we are going to go over tonight. The event's going to go like this. We're going to start with Marcelo, who is our CEO and one of our co-founders. And he's going to talk about the AI wave, what's different in the ways that companies are hiring, what types of skills they're looking for, how jobs are being impacted, and kind of this overview of the industry. Then we're going to move into Alejandro, who's our other co-founder. And he is going to do a technical workshop showing you guys some cool things that you can do with AI. And kind of like a sneak peek as to some things that you might learn if you took our AI engineering program. After the two speakers, we're going to have a dedicated time for Q&A. I know that these type of events always generate a good amount of questions, so I want to be sure that you guys can ask your questions. You can ask to Marcelo or Alejandro, so they can be more general questions for Marcelo, or they can be more technical questions for Alejandro. And then we will wrap up at the end with a special offer for you guys. So I hope you guys do stick around till the end, because if you do, we have a special form where if you sign up, you will receive a present for attending tonight's event. So without further ado, I'll pass it over to Marcelo. Thank you guys.
Am I sharing the Yes, I'm sharing the right one, right?
Yes, you are.
So there are a couple of questions that I want to address right now. Um, well, many of them. Um, why you have why are we having these conversations with Alejandro and me on top of the conversation? And why For Geeks is so immersed, so involved, so all in into AI engineering, into the education that we're providing, into making a career, into building something that can offer plenty of you a career that is a long-lasting opportunity to make a living, not only in terms of wages, but also in terms of building and belonging to the present and the future. Why are we doing this? Why Alejandro and me are here? Why is 4 Gigs doing that? And I'll start answering that question by going back to when we started 4 Gigs almost 10 years ago. Um, Alejandro and I we met each other when we were like 13 or 14 years old. We have been um, best friends for many years, and at some point we discovered that we wanted to launch a program in the US that was capable of providing the skills to the talent that it was required, that it was needed, because the demand for software engineers and for full stack developers was back then was extremely high compared to the talent available in the market. Like there was an immense opportunity, an immense gap, and one of the reasons why the gap is so high, was so high, and it will keep being high in technology or in the tech industry, it's because nobody's paying attention to the skills. Nobody. Like colleges and universities are running away from it, from the credential programs at least. More and more different colleges are actually opening continuing education courses or programs that are focusing on the skills. But one of the things that we're focusing is not just so much on the skills, but on the outcome. What we're building is an outcome based, an outcome focused, a career focused program. And that's why by at some point in 2025, we were having a conversation about what's the future of 4 Gigs, and we decided to start over. Um, and what I mean is that we had 4 programs back then: full stack cybersecurity, data science, and applied AI. We knew that artificial intelligence was coming. We have known this for 3 or 4 years, but we were just riding the wave, like we were just a part of the day-to-day um, consequence of the industry. We were not thinking forward, and we were not building the best program out there, because the full stack program, which has been the cornerstone of everything that we have done, was at some point the best program in the US. Not only in the US, in the places where we have locations in North, South, Central America, and Europe. And it's probably still the best program possible, but it's not the best program if you're not an outcome based, an outcome focused institution. If you're not thinking about what's the goal at the end, this has no purpose. So we decided to rebuild the purpose. And the new 4 Gigs, the new purpose that we have, is to provide the best program to achieve those results in terms of the skills, the syllabus, the people that we have consulted, the technology that we have built, the tools that you have access, the support that you will get, the mentorship, the instructors, everything will be is the best product that we can offer that nobody's offering something like this for the like to achieve the goal of transitioning into an AI position, an AI engineering position. And what someone see, but probably a bunch of people are seeing this as a threat, including ourselves back then, last year, 2 years ago. We were thinking like, yeah, oh my God, AI, what's going on there? What will happen? And I think that we have to get used to it, to not knowing and working on it. We have to work on it. We have to be relentless. We have to sacrifice many things, even though we don't know what's happening tomorrow, because we won't. We already don't know. Like just the 2026 um is a proof that we don't know how fast, how good, or how bad things will go in terms within the industry. But we do know what we can do, and we're intelligent enough to identify that if there is a projection of 78 million new jobs for AI engineer related positions in the next 5 years, according to the World Economic Forum. If we are expecting an annual increase in investments of $4.4 trillion, this is just in the US. The 4.4. If the GDP is growing, if the noise about displacement, layoff, big tech quitting and dismissing their talent, if we step aside of that noise and we watch the whole picture, then we can understand that we can build something that will give you the opportunity to belong, to launch your career, and to make sense of it. But it's going to be technical, it's going to be challenging, you are going to feel frustrated, and it's going to be at some point painful, but it's going to be worth it, because you're not going to get a career as an AI engineer without any harm, without any injuries. You're going to get injured in the way, in the way of building yourself as an AI engineer. And it's okay. It's like playing a sport. You do it and you enjoy it, but you get injured. Right now, only 3% of the people in the internet are saying that they have an AI skill. Only 3% of the people out there with a profile, public profile, either looking for a job or not, they're listing that they have an AI skill. But 86% of employers are planning to transform their company into an AI-centric company. There's a big fact that I wanted to share with you guys, that it goes against the noise that I was mentioning before, of the layer of noise. That AI will create more jobs than it displaces, and the net positive for the labor market through 2020, 2030 by many different people will increase. What is true is that if you are a software engineer, like think about those guys that graduated in the 80s. Think about them and think about a software engineer graduating from 4Geeks in 2017. That person that graduated from 4Geeks in 2017 was well more prepared, ready, updated, committed to the current technology than the guy that graduated in the 80s or in the 70s, because they learned something different, even though they're both software engineers. So right now it's kind of, it applies the analogy. As an AI engineer, you have plenty of room to choose from. It will be your choice, not at the beginning, and not without any injuries, but it'll be your choice. And you're building a long-lasting career at the same time. So by saying this, I want to answer the main two questions that I started the conversation with. Why is Alejandro and Marcelo, the co-founder of 4Geeks, here in the conversation? I will be here. We're going to be here everywhere. We want to talk about this. And why are we doing this transformation? Why are we transforming 4Geeks into the best AI school in the world? And to achieve that, you need to achieve your goals. And we're all in. Like, there's nothing stopping us from achieving that end goal. Nothing. We're going to be extremely persistent and extremely committed to achieve those goals with you. Because the only way for us to achieve that is that you change your life, your professional life. This is what an AI front-end engineer is making right now, or a full-stack engineer. By the way, if you're thinking about this as an option for your career, you have to think about this as a technical job. Doesn't mean that it's not for entry level or for juniors or for people coming from different industries. I'm a lawyer, by the way. Now I'm transitioning again. I was telling the team the other day that I'm a technical guy now. I have been most of my career technical, but technical into the soft portion. Like, I'm really good at numbers and data, managing data and processing data and working with data. But right now, I'm really technical in everything that I do. And I keep being data centric, but I work with, I don't know, like 1,000 tools per day. Obviously not 1,000. Several different tools integrated, all of them, all together, all the time. And if it's not like that, I don't enjoy my job anymore. I don't like it. I feel frustrated. If it's not extremely technical, I feel frustrated. So if you're thinking about this and you're coming from a non-technical position and you think like you're having this question, is this for me or not? The plain, straightforward answer is it depends how technical you want to become. Can you do it? Sure. I did it. I have done it 2 or 3 times already. But it's going to be technical. It's not going to be a soft skills with a little bit of hard skills. It's going to be a bunch of hard skills with a bunch of soft skills. But this is what is waiting for you out there. By the way, this is junior positions. And this is not me. There's everything I'm saying has sources of information and data to be consulted. And how you're going to achieve this? You're going to achieve this by entering the program, graduating from the program, giving your life for the program and for your career, getting a junior engineering position later, then a mid-level, and then a senior. And this is a 5-year roadmap, if I can project it like that. And it will change. I'm almost 100% sure that this is a roadmap that will change, that will change the program, and the roadmap will change. But you'll be ready for that. And if you come from a software engineering background, like if you graduated from 4Geeks or from any other institution, and you're finding a new job because you don't have a job or because you're finding a new job, you have to do this. You have to do this as it happens with those lawyers, nurses, graphic designers, engineers, other branches of engineering. You have to do this. This is the best way to achieve that goal. And this is the data split into different places. Only about, I think there's someone that has a little bit of noise. Let's see if I can, no. Melvin, I'm sorry, can you mute yourself? I can see the Tennessee question. We can talk about the specifics. Tennessee is obviously it's not a major tech hub, But right now, you have to think about the job scenarios in three different ways. Jobs that you can find in Tennessee, jobs that you can find remote living in Tennessee, and jobs that you can find where you want to relocate. There's a friend of ours, Alejandro, I shared that with you, from Monday. He's looking for an AI engineer in San Francisco right now, and they're paying for everything, the relocation expenses, everything. He just posted that like an hour ago. It's like a new beginning, this actually. I went to my LinkedIn. I normally don't go to LinkedIn so often, but every time that I go, I get surprised, normally in a bad way, because I see a bunch of things that I don't like, just like any other social media. This time, this year, for example, I've been more frequent, I've been doing more, taking care and using the platform often. And now I become like, every time that I go in, I get happy, because the only thing that I see is open opportunities for AI engineers, a bunch of them. Of course, there's a little bit of a difference between what you can get in one place to another because of the cost of living, the opportunities that you can find. This is just a broad picture, and again, this is a bunch of different data sources consulted and verified by me. And when I say verified by me, it's because obviously this was built by an AI. I integrated 5 different tools to build this. And then I verified the information. I went through the different sources of information. I verified everything, but I didn't do anything. I just provided a bunch of inputs, a bunch of prompts. I integrated and allowed 4 different platforms to work together, and then I created this. So if you wanna belong, if you wanna be a part of the 84% of people getting a job within 6 months after graduation, or if you wanna do it with or without the job guarantee, if you wanna get mentorship for the rest of your life, if you wanna build and belong and become an AI engineer, do it with 4Geeks. That's the best recommendation that I can give you guys. And right now, before Alejandro starts with his portion of the conversation, I want to open the microphone to anyone who has a question. Anyone?
You can also post in the chat if you feel more comfortable.
Yeah, of course. I'll stay around, so don't worry.
So for those of us who are recently graduated or getting ready to graduate from the full stack development program, would it be wise for us to transition into the AI engineering course before we gain professional experience in software engineering, or how would that work for us?
I think it's a topic that I addressed at some point during the conversation. You have to do it, yeah. If you want to get a real job, if you want to combine the skills that you already got, if you want to scale and jump a few steps forward, you have to do it, Lisa. You have to do it.
Well, I think what Marcelo's trying to say is that if you enhance your skills into AI completely, your life is going to be way easier in terms of finding a job. Obviously, there are companies still looking for software developers. The amount of software developers being hired is still a good amount of people, but when Marcelo says that you have to do it, he's talking about life decisions. Like, I am doing it. Like, everyone's doing it. Everyone's switching to being AI first, and not only like applying AI to your job, but also applying AI into a company, because that's what every single company is trying to do. So why not doing it? So let's say you don't do it and you get hired. You're gonna get fired after a while if you don't do it. So you will eventually do it. If you get hired, or if you don't get hired right now, you will eventually do it. Or you will just drop the tech career approach and do something else, because no one that stays on technology cannot completely embrace AI. And when it comes to being an engineer or what it's a software engineer, software engineers now are basically engineers inside the company that apply AI to every part of the company. So I would say that you have to transition to this sooner or later, and you can try pursuing a job right now. And I think it's a viable decision. It's okay. It's something that I see people doing every day, and some people succeeding. So I would still say that's a viable option. If that's the option that you have, the only option that you have, you should stick to it. But if you have the option to transition fast into AI and start applying AI into every part of your life or company's life, then that's obviously a better approach. I think this is a no-brainer. I think this is an opportunity. Like, think about this for a second, Elizabeth. You were late on a software development wave, right? That wave started, let's say, in 2009, maybe. That was the hype of the wave, 2009. You were late to it. You were entering into that wave in 2025. Now you're early on the next wave. And I know that right now it feels frustrating, the transition between waves, right? But I think it's absolutely an opportunity. I mean, I was 13 when the first wave came, and I got to enjoy it. When I got to enjoy it, I got so many opportunities out of it. So now it's going to be the second wave that it's going to be now transitioning into AI. So I think it's an amazing opportunity. So obviously it's challenging because we have to increase our knowledge a lot more, but it's challenging for everyone. And I love when fair is game. So right now fair is game. Everyone is being challenged. So I think right now someone that knows AI properly and applying it properly, it's way more valuable than a software developer with 20 years of experience or 15 that doesn't want to jump into the boat. Yeah. Well,
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
I love the way you explained that. Marcelo mentioned a form. I was going to save this to the end. I mentioned that we were going to give you guys a present if you attend the event, which I'll go over at the end. But if you can or want to fill out the form during the event, you can do so as well. I put it here in the chat, and we'll save time at the end as well to fill it out.
We'll send them by email as well. But anyway, yeah.
We have more questions too, so there's more to go over.
So Melvin, the cohort is 6 months in total. It's part-time. You should be thinking about this as a 25 to 30 hours workload commitment per week. Then if the question could be less, could be a little bit less than 25, could be I have 20. I mean, yes, the more the better, honestly. But it's part-time, so it goes after office. The classes begin at 6 p.m. Eastern time, so it shouldn't collide with the majority of the 9 to 5 kind of jobs. And then there's a bunch of exercises and projects and things to complete on your own and with us outside of classes. That's why we build the 25 kind of workload framework for this.
Do you want me to read off the questions to make sure we hit everyone?
I'm reading them. Don't worry. Carniel, how do we provide the job guarantee if this is the first wave?
It says first
Right
wave.
now, I'm sorry, Alejandro. Yeah.
No, I didn't understand the last part of the question.
Well, this is one of the first classes. How can we offer the job guarantee and commit to that? First, right, because we kind of understand what's happening, but B, because right now in our hands, we have plenty of job opportunities open from partners that work with us, from organizations that are posting in the network that we have, from events that we're attending and people are desperately looking from friends, hiring directly. And honestly, I have had this question before when we launched the job guarantee for Bolivia software engineers, or Italian software engineers, or people from Panama, Mexico, and Venezuela with the job guarantee, and they have gotten a job. So it's it's our best, our our commitment expressed in the best way possible. We're all in with this.
No, I think you have to understand that we have been doing this for a long time, training people for for getting hired into companies. We have done it for every government you can think of, and every and companies from like every sector, and we know when we are on the game. We start by always we started the creation of the syllabus by doing research on the job openings, and when we convert those job openings into skills and be and using a skill framework, and then we train you based on those skills. And then obviously since people already know that we do this, we get constant requests from a lot of people asking for software develop for engineers and software developers. So usually the bottleneck is not that they don't need it. Usually the bottleneck is how how useful can you be from day one, right? So how junior or how senior. But the good thing about being early on the wave is that that's not a problem anymore. Like they're not going to compare you with a 20-year-old of experience software engineer. They're going to compare you with someone else that it's has started maybe at the same time as you, or maybe later. And I think that's great. Finally, we're removing one of the biggest objection from hiring uh, someone that has trained um, not too long ago, because everyone's doing the same thing. Like sometimes I discover and I read a blog post that changes the way that I see the way that I'm approaching every single project right now as an engineer. That happens right now. It didn't happen 5 years ago. Everything was basically the same. But now every time I read something, I change completely the way that I approach a problem. And that makes me junior. That makes me junior because I was trying to approach the problem in the same way that I was doing it 5 years ago. So that's happening to me right now. Imagine this happening to everyone. And then yeah. So just to summarize, I know that there's a dramatic increase in chances that you get hired from a training or from being a junior, let's say a junior specialist on a particular skill in AI right now than there was 5 to 10 years ago in software development. It's a better landscape right now than it was 5 to 10 years ago for a software developer.
You know that one of the positions that I got today from a different partner was asking for a senior lead role with 1 year of experience.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a contradiction. It looks like a contradiction, but it's not. Okay, let's move forward.
Yeah, there's a few questions about the program starting. When does
I'll
it start?
I'll take care of them
Okay.
when they go, but I want you to have your chance before everyone has
Okay.
to.
So yeah, let's get a little bit technical here. Remember that this program has been changing a lot in the past 2 months, and it's gonna continue changing. So whatever I say right now, if we change it, it's because it's better to change it, not because I don't know. For example, serverless. Do like this with your hand if you know the word on or serverless, what it means. Serverless. So only one person knows about do. Okay, do thumbs down if you don't know what serverless is. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now I'm just going to explain it quickly. So serverless is a technology that was really hyped a few years ago, and it still is a little bit, where you can call you can call a service on the cloud, let's say an Amazon Web Services on the Google Cloud, on Microsoft Edge. I think it's Edge. No, it's not Edge. I don't remember the cloud of Microsoft right now. That you can call a function, and the function will start existing, run, and then remove itself. So that's great because you don't have to have a computer running, and not like usually it works that you have a computer running, and that computer is gonna provide a service to you. So you can ask questions to the computer, or you can have an API on it, whatever. Serverless is not like that. Serverless is more like the computer is sleeping and you don't get charged. And then when someone asks something to that computer that is sleeping, it will wake up, answer, and go to sleep again. That's basically serverless in a very simple way. So why am I talking about this? Because serverless is amazing, but we only can fit 6 months of content, or 5 months of content, let's say, because if you add the final project, it's going to be 5 months. And serverless for me is not a priority anymore. So if you come and say, okay, why was serverless removed from the syllabus or from the course? Well, it's because maybe serverless is not the most important thing to bring AI into a company, and there's more important concepts. So yeah, you may see today some things that we added or remove it tomorrow, and that's okay, right? I'm just gonna give you a general gist on how it's gonna work. So I want to start by doing a small diagram on the concepts. So like I said, you're gonna automate an entire company from day one. So let me share the screen for a second. Okay. And also let me also start by, you already have previous skills right now. You already have skills. I know some people from this chat, and I know the skills that you might have. So for example, you may already be a full stack developer. Full stack. So that means that you already know about APIs, you know about like front end, or let's say HTML, CSS, React front end. You may know about databases. And then there's another group of people that I also know from this chat, from this meeting, that have a background on, let's say, machine learning and data science. So, and data science. So that group of people will be here in databases again, but then you know about maybe data pipelines, like cleaning data or predicting data as well. Cataloging data or tagging data, things like that. And then there's another group of people that comes from the UI world, right? Like UI UX. I don't know a lot of those people because we never taught those type of skills in the school, but they know a lot about UI, so they know about like screens, layouts, usability, and things like that. So, and then there's another group that none of you are here, that will be more like a, let's say, someone that is really good about product. So product means that you know requirements, planning, and things like that. So when a new wave of technology, we already talked about the first wave, right? The first wave was started like around 2005 to 2009, and it required that you knew stuff like being a good full stack or being a good UI UX. I remember that these two careers started growing at the same time, and then product as well. Then later came machine learning, let's say like around here, like after mid-wave, machine learning started existing. So in this timeline, we're talking about, let's say this is already like 2015, something like that. I'm just, these are not exact dates, so don't get, if I'm making a mistake, it's an honest mistake. I don't know the exact date where machine learning started being like really important and companies started looking for it a lot, like a hot skill. Now we have AI engineering. That's a new wave. So sadly, AI engineering will merge everything into one. That's what's going to happen. Like so it's crazy, it's overwhelming because all the skills, not all of them, but the more the better, right? The skills that you were required from these four areas now are required when you are an AI engineer. And the good news is that you have help from the AI, right? So you don't need to be like super good on the details on these skills, but you need to be good at the fundamentals. So I'm just gonna say here, it's all fundamentals skills from wave one. Fundamental skills from wave one. So what does that mean? That you're gonna have to be doing some front ends, but good front ends, not like shitty front ends. You're gonna have to be doing some manipulation of information because you're gonna need to organize the entire company, the data of the company. You're gonna need to organize it properly. Then you're gonna need to be like really good at like, let's say, like organizing that data. It doesn't mean the data that it's already organized, but also like collecting it and transforming it in real time, right? So those skills will also be incorporated into the bootcamp. And then obviously product as well, because this is where everything begins. And I'm going to talk about now, there's an article that that was written by Anthropic. Everyone knows Anthropic. Do thumbs down if you don't know Anthropic. Thumbs down if you don't know Anthropic. Okay, so everyone knows Anthropic, so that's cool. So they are the ones innovating the most right now in terms of LLMs and agents. So obviously we have to listen to what they say. They are usually trend makers, and sometimes what they publish becomes a standard. So right now that standards are being created, I have to pay attention a lot because I know I have enough instinct to know which standards are becoming like real things that are going to stay and which others are going to not stay and are going to be maybe competed by other standards, and we don't know yet if it's going to stay as a technology. So this one for me was an eye-opener, right? It's called compound engineering. So the philosophy behind it is that right now, and this is something that you guys have experienced in vibe coding, right now the way that you work is, let me see if I can, I'm going to share this link so that you guys can have it. It's super important to read it. I think you should take the time to read it. The way that works right now is that, let me give you the summary here. There's a section that is super useful that summarizes the entire article. Let me see, give me a second. Somewhere here. Vibe coder, philosophy. Data extraction pattern, design flow, skip permissions. Give me a second because here it is. Okay, so the stages. So the stage that you guys are right now, if you're a full stack developer or if you're a data scientist and you have worked with Python and code, is that you're doing manual development and you have had chat-based assistance. So that means that you have spoken to ChatGPT or to Grok, and you have basically being able to be better at coding because of the recommendations that the chat gives you. And maybe you also have had an agent like Cursor where you have a line by line review. So Cursor will give you, like, for example, I have it here right now. I can just tell something to Cursor and it will give me code and I can approve it or disapprove it, right? I can just say, here I have, for example, here, it's the latest that it gave me. Look, it's making changes and I can approve or disapprove the changes that the agent made. So that's stage 2 of being an engineer that uses AI. Then you have stage 3. Stage 3 means that you no longer open cursor like this and use the coding editor. No. Stage 3 means that the AI will do a pull request to you and it will present the code already done, and you have to approve or disapprove the entire pull request, not just lines of code. It's not line by line, it's the entire feature, right? And the last stage, well, the stage 4, my bad, is idea to pull request. So that means you're going to write only the planning. So that's why I'm saying here that you have to be good at this. You have to be good at this part here. You're going to be writing requirements and planning, and that's it. You don't do anything else. You don't do the code. You don't do the database, the data pipeline, the cleanup. You don't do any of this. None of this. None of this. Absolutely nothing of this. And the only thing that you do is requirements and planning. That's possible today. That's something you can do today with the current technology. And the last part, it's parallel cloud execution, where you're going to have a bunch of agents and AIs talking to each other in multiple devices, and they're going to be continuously coding in real time, and you don't even do any more pull request review. You just trust that it works. And the word trust means that you have, obviously you have like very like formal setups, so that works. You have like a factory of code being done by AI. This is also something possible right now. I know a few people that are currently doing this. It requires a lot of effort and engineering, but it's possible. And if you guys have heard about lately, Anthropic was able to redo the C kernel, C++ entirely for $20,000. I think it took about 2 weeks. I don't remember, but that was a project that took years to humanity to build, like the C kernel, to be able to compile C code, and they did it on 2 weeks, and for $20,000. So that's very inexpensive, and that's also with no human intervention, by the way. So they didn't review PRs, they didn't do PR reviews, they didn't line by line, none of this. They did. So the course is gonna transition you. The course that we are building, that we are currently in the middle of the process of building it, we already finished the first 2 months, is taking you from stage 0 to stage 5. Stage 0 means that you're going to be doing on day 1 a little bit of manual coding, and then on day 3 you're never again going to be doing manual coding. Even if you don't know how to code, it's going to be like that, because we firmly believe that you can be very good at what as an AI engineer if you know the fundamentals of all of this, but not if you're the one writing all of this. This is going to block you from being a good engineer. So that's one of the premises that we are having on the program, that you're going to be always asking an AI to generate the entire output for you, even if it's UI UX, even if it's machine learning, even if it's full stack. It's going to be generated for you, and then you're going to be the one. You're going to be stuck the majority of the course. You're going to be stuck at between stage 2 and stage 3. Okay, so you're going to be doing agentic tools with line by line review, and you're going to be doing also a lot of planning and waiting for PRs. We're going to make you the god of planning. That's what we're going to make you, the god of planning. And to do that, from day one, you're going to be training your agent from day 1. So training your agent means developing skills for the agent, not for yourself. That is also true, by the way, but it's also for the agent. It's like you and your agent are a partnership for life now. And when someone hires you, they're going to hire you and your agents. They're not going to hire you alone. And this is happening already. Like when people apply to jobs, they already bring their agents. That happens. Some people bring them in like Mac minis or computers, but I think that's already like it's a show off, right? Because it doesn't really matter where it is. It's just in a virtual server or it's in a GitHub repository. It doesn't matter. But you're gonna build your skills, your agent skills from day 1. And what I mean by that is that Anthropic skills. I don't remember the name of the website, but I visited every day. There's a standard that Anthropic released on skills, on how the skills are supposed to, this one, agenticskills.io. So who here has heard about OpenClaw? OpenClaw. So one of the reasons OpenClaw has been so successful is because they adopted this guy from OpenClaw. He also had a good instinct on the things that were going to become a standard. He had a good instinct on choosing what path to take when building an agent. And the agent that the way that he built the OpenClaw agent was embracing completely the skills framework, this skill framework, agentic skills. And it's very simple, by the way. It's just basically a file called skills.md where you're going to be writing the agent what to do. But it becomes complicated when you have merging skills, when you're merging skills. So you're going to have a database of skills that you're going to be building during the course, where you're going to tell the agent how to do UI, how to do UX, how to do data pipelines, how to clean data, how to do stuff. And then you're going to tell the agent to do it. You're going to be having an agent on your side, similar to Cursor, where you're going to have a chat and you're going to be telling things the agent to do, and you're going to be incorporating those skills into the agent by having a folder called the .agent/skills. And these agent skills are just basically files, markdown files, where you just tell them, listen, do this. Let me just show you a skill right now. I'm going to open a new window, and I'm going to teach. Oh, you know what? I think it's even better. Look, let me show you a conversation I had with an agent today. This is an agent that I have installed on. This is an OpenClaw agent, by the way. It's OpenClaw. It's called John Gabernet. It's here in Slack. I chat with him every day, or with it every day, and since I know how it works, I'm incorporating the skills every day to it. So I was telling him today, what is the process? Look, here's the conversation. How do I upload skills to you? I was saying, how do I upload skills to you? And he would say, well, there's two ways, depending what you mean on upload. Option A will be to do a marketplace, like a very complicated option. And then option B, it's just upload the zip file to me. And thank God I already had skills. So let me read you some skills right now that I have provided to OpenClaw. It's just, like I said, it's just a little file. These are 3 skills that I developed, I think it was like a week ago, and I uploaded them today on how to interact with the BreatheCode API. The BreatheCode API is the school API. We have an API where you can, for example, check who's currently a student. You can check what's the current stage of that student, if it's in the middle of the course, if already graduated, or like a bunch of things. So I created a little file, this one, skill.md, in English, where I'm just specifying everything to the agent that it needs to know to interact with my API. So for example, use this skill when the agent needs to call the BreatheCode API. And then a bunch of like things on how to interact with it. But then I'm just saying, when you get an error, these are the type of errors that you're gonna get. I'm just being very like, I'm just teaching the agent like a teacher, everything that may happen. And then I'm saying quick examples. How to get alt user me will be like my profile. And then how to get the academic cohorts, the upcoming dates for the new cohorts. And then I have another one like for admissions. Look, the admissions one it's even better because it's more English. Like trigger examples. You can list cohorts by the academy. You can get students information. You can export the entire cohort. You can list all the syllabus that we teach. You can get the attendance, look, for a class. I'm just teaching the agent how to do that, like with samples, requests. So the moment I do that, the moment I finish my skill.md, that is an English file, it's a file in English, I can just upload this to OpenClaw, and I did it just now. Look, you can see that I did it at 5. No, where was the upload? Here at 5:46, and currently it's 6:59. So not a long time ago, I uploaded the Briscoe API Basics zip file with the skill.md, and he said, "Oh, got it. I unpack it, and it's in my skills folder now." So he knows already about the API. So I said, "Can I ask you now information about a student?" And then he said, "Yes. Tell me, who do you want to identify as a student?" And then I said, an email. I didn't get an answer for a little bit, so I got anxious in 2 minutes. But I also said about me, look, I said, get my user profile. And here's my profile. It gave me my information on the system. So it's already requesting the API in the right way. And all I did was a skill.md file. That's it. Like all I did was this. That's it. So it's very powerful. It's very powerful that you can provide skills to an agent like this. So the course will not only, obviously, I'm going to teach you, or not me, but maybe some other teacher as well, and some mentors. I'm going to teach you to write skills.md, but that's not it. Like, in order to write a skill.md that is the right skill.md, you have to know sometimes the agent will need help with other stuff. Like, for example, how do you gather the student information to be able to have an API? So gathering that information will require machine learning skills like data pipelines and stuff. So I'm going to teach you, and the school is going to teach you how you can, for example, in this case, we're talking about to gather information from the students. Let's say that it's not students. Let's say that it's soccer or football stats. So if there's no API, you're going to have to scrape that. Scraping means that you're going to have to go to a website and take the information from the website without the website having an API. It may have an API, and then you're going to have to grab all that information and put it in a database. So and for that, you're going to be doing something that is called a pipeline. And then that information, you're going to have to feed it to something that is called a vector database. So I'm going to put here another connection to a vector database, so that the agent can the agent has two ways of requesting this information. OpenClaw. When I say the agent, it's OpenClaw or any other agent. You can either build an API for it. So you can either build an API for it, you can build something called an MCP server, or you can just build a skills.md file. So what are the trade-offs? If you build a skill.md file, then you risk not explaining properly, right? Like this type of explanation that I just showed you, this is super cool because it's very efficient, like in terms of like I can just build a lot of skills quickly in English. But at some point, the agent is going to get overwhelmed if it has too many skills. So ideally, you want to have in skills as a plan C. So your plan A is NCP server. That's your plan A. Plan A. Then you have plan B, you have API, and then you have plan C, the skills. So we're always going to teach you to do the first one, the second one, and the third one. We're going to teach you to do all of them from day one. Actually, we're going to even teach you to build an entire agent from scratch. And this is a code that you're going to be doing on week 4. On week 4, let me show you a simple code. This one here that it's called one time. It is an agent. You can see that it has only 100 lines of code, and actually I can just remove this part here and it doesn't really matter. So it has 100 lines of code, let's say 100 lines of code, and it's a simple loop to be able to have an agent answer your messages, right? So for example, let me show you, let me clear this out for a second and make the website bigger. I'm just going to say clear. Okay, so if I run this code, if I say PNP filter agent run one time, hello, how are you? I am running. It says, I am doing well. Thank you for asking. Is there something I can help you with? But you see how it stopped. It didn't ask me for more information, or it didn't wait for me to answer. So this is what we call a one-time agent. It's an agent that runs only once. And you have agents like that, like NHN. Are you guys familiar with NHN? Or Zapier, actually. Zapier. Are you guys familiar with Zapier? Zapier is a one-time agent. It's an agent. Let me show you this. We're going to teach you this as well, by the way. Zapier, I have a few Zaps here, so I think I can show you what the capabilities of Zapier pretty quickly. Zapier, it's like a connector. It's a workflow builder, so it's a connector of boxes. I can say in Zapier, I can say, when something happens, do something else. Like for example, when I get an email, here's email, right? So when I get an email, new inbound email on my email account, so I have to have an email address and stuff. So imagine I already have it. Then I want to write the email into a Google Doc. So, and this is a workflow. It starts on this step and it moves to the next step. And then after you do that, I want you to send an SMS to someone else. And I have to specify the phone number and stuff. So this is a workflow. It's a flow that happens from one part and it goes to the next part until it finishes. This is like old school way of working, because here you have to specify every single thing that the agent must do. So you're going to see on the internet that people will call Zapier or NHN, that is the free alternative. They're going to call this an agent. Look, flexible AI, workflow automation, technical teams. Well, actually, they don't call themselves agents, so that's good. But in the internet, you're going to see YouTubers and stuff saying that NHA is an agent and you can train it with a workflow for doing stuff. Look, AI agent, tools agent. But really, 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 if you think about this, this is ideal for automating a part of the company. But there's a part of the company that you want to automate with a less, let's say it's a less deterministic flow. So you don't want to tell it what to do. You don't want to tell it what to do. You want to plan and you want to have skills, but then you want to let the agent go and do whatever it needs to do. So that's why we're going to teach you as well one-time agents that like NHN that start and finish. Look, I would say something like, how are you? And they will just end the process. Then you have loop agents. That means an agent where I can just say loop and it will continue looping forever, right? So I'm just going to say loop and then it's going to ask for my input and I'm going to say, how are you? And then he's going to answer, but it's already waiting for me to ask again. So this is an infinite agent. It's an agent that never finishes, right? It's always going to be there for me. That's more like a chat, right? And then there's other types of agents where it doesn't even ask any more information from you. It will just continue without asking. So that's another type of agent. So we're going to teach you all those types of agents and how to build them so that you can have a recursive agent. Recursive in Silicon Valley is the most hyped word you can imagine. Like, oh man, that guy is recursive, they say. That means that you can improve yourself. That means that the first time you run, you have an output. Let's say I tell you to do something, laundry, whatever. And the second time you do laundry, you're going to do it better than the first time, right? So that's what we want from agents. We want for them to also improve themselves. So that's another part of the course that we're going to be teaching you. This repository here, I'm just going to close this folders and show you the entire code base, because this is going to be the entire company for you. You're going to build a company from scratch, right? So you're going to start with marketing, like maybe getting sales, getting leads, and you're going to apply AI to that. You're going to apply, for example, here, there's an example in this repository where we have in a data pipeline. Here's the pipeline of data. So we have the data. We have raw data and processed data. So here's the raw data. Look, let's look at this for a second. In the raw data, we have leads coming, like Alice, Bob, Carol, whatever. These people are interested in buying your products. So one thing that you want to do with an agent is that you want to go through those people and know if they're good, if they're good, if they're worth your time, right? So right now you don't know that. Look, in this current scenario, you only know their emails, the company that they work for, if it's a B2B company or whatever, how you got them, and when the lead came in, when the interested person in buying your products came in. But in the process data, it's at least that it's very similar to the original one. Let me actually put them in the same page. I'm gonna put both in the same page. Let me format this document. So here they are. You have Alice and you have Alice. The difference is that in this one you have a score. What do you guys think this score means? This score means that you are putting a score on the person. You're saying, if it's more than 89, let's say, it's worth my time. So if it's more than 89, I'm going to start, let's say, calling that person or following up with that person or whatever, because it's going to probably buy my products, right? So that's what what a company wants. A company wants to filter all the noise. So to be able to score that person, you need machine learning. You need data. You need inputs. You need to know, for example, at what time did it apply, or if you can know the credit score, that will be amazing. So whatever information you have, you can use to score that person. So that's the pipeline part of it. Like in the pipeline is where your data, you're going to learn how to process the data and feed it better to the agents so that the agents can later call them and write them SMS messages or WhatsApp or whatever to the right people, because there's going to be too much people applying to your company. You're going to be so successful that you're going to have so many leads, or you're going to get hired by a company that is already so successful that has so many leads that they want to qualify those leads with a score. So you're going to learn to do that in the marketing side of it. But then obviously in the, let's say in another part of the company could be being able to do maintenance on particular machinery. So you're going to have to also have a pipeline of data where you have, let's say, an AC company. That I live in Miami, there's a lot of AC companies, right? Because it's super hot here. So AC companies have a lot of money. So being able to score when a house it's more prompt to ask for maintenance, or they're going to call you, or maybe you can go to the house and do maintenance to prevent the hardware for breaking. That's going to save a lot of money to the company. So that's another way of thinking about pipelines, is to identify and prevent things that will cost money for the company. So that's another thing. So there's so many things that you're going to learn around dealing with data. Like you're going to have to grab data from different data sources, and then after that data it's available, then you're going to have the agent. You're going to feed that data to the agent so that the agent can speak about it. So right now, if you should be able to ask your agent, like, which AC units should have maintenance right now, and the agent should know. But you need to feed that information to the agent so that the agent can later maybe send an SMS to the technician to go to the house, or schedule a particular maintenance in the house. So all of that in the same repository, you're going to have the API, and you're going to build the entire API for the agent to access that information. And then you're going to have a front end as well. Obviously, you're going to have a website, and you're going to have an application that you're going to build that humans can use, because applications like front ends are for humans now. They're not for agents. So agents don't consume HTML. They consume a chat. So you're going to have everything like text-based for the agent, but then HTML, CSS, and front-end based for your boss, maybe, like reports and things like that. So the front end becomes less relevant. In the future, you probably will have almost no HTML whatsoever, ever again. So you're just going to have a bunch of like reports, and everything else will be voice or chat interactions. So you're going to be ready. You're going to get ready for those type of interactions with the agents. Is there's any Like I've been talking so much. I just want feedback from you guys because I can keep talking on all the things you're going to be building. By the way, I am doing this right now in an entire university. I am grabbing the entire university and I'm applying this, and I'm getting paid
with their permission.
with their permission, obviously. Yeah, and I'm getting paid a lot, and they are getting charged by other companies that are not me, myself, and Marcelo and stuff. They're getting charged millions of dollars, literally, for doing the same job that I'm just explaining to you right now. And I am already doing this inside the university, and we're gonna have a meeting soon with the president of the university and the the vice president of technology, because what we're doing right now, it's a pilot, and they are very interested in starting applying this to the entire university. So these skills are proven to work. They're being used by companies. They're being used by 4Geeks, by the way. So this is real. This is real stuff that it's gonna really automate completely a company. You can completely automate a company if you have the robot. The robot will be the additional thing that we don't have, right? But everything else you can completely automate. Any questions? Let me go back to the chat, to the diagram. So it's a combination between full stack, machine learning, UI, UX, and product. And you need to grab information from everywhere. Then you need to process that information, feed it to the agent, and then the agent needs to be capable of doing and like calling other things. By the way, yeah, let me show you that. Like my little agent here that I just built in 2 minutes before this presentation is this one that I was just calling just now. This one. Look how cool this is. I'm gonna grab the code of the agent, and I'm gonna ask the agent to give me a second. I'm gonna ask the agent. I'm gonna remove a tool that I added to the. I don't know. Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Tools. Run agent. Tool calls. Tool schema. Here, this one. So I'm just gonna remove all the tools from the agent for a second so that you guys know how cool this is, that you can incorporate skills. Another way of incorporating skills into the agent here. Tools. Okay. Tools, and then tool schema. Like, look here, I added a tool for the agent. Here it says perform. This is a tool, or like you can think about it like a skill that I added to the agent to perform get request to a URL. So I'm just saying you can now visit a URL. You can visit a URL. That's what I'm adding into the agent. And the tool is called get request. And I'm incorporating that tool into the agent. So my little agent now has that capability. So I can just say now into my agent loop, I can say, can you visit the google.com website? And it will, wait, there's a problem. Tool call validation failed. Attempt to call get request. Well, there's no problem. Obviously there is. Can you visit google.com? Yep, it's not working. Failed generation, but it was working just like a few, well, whatever. So you incorporate tools into your agent, and then your agent is able to do more things. But what I'm trying to say by this is that in this diagram, once your agent has all the information that you're feeding to it, then your agent is able to do more stuff that you can incorporate to it. So like, for example, visiting a website, or it can turn on your lights, and things like that. And all of this is called a tool. These are tools. So if you combine the skills with the tools, then you need to be an engineer. You need to know about software to do tools so that you can incorporate those capabilities into your agent, so that the agent can later read a skill, and with those skills, call those tools. That's what I'm trying to say. So the entire course, it's going to be about automating an entire company, and you start from the data, then you fit it into the agents, and then you build tools for those agents, and then the agent knows it all because he has all the data, and it's capable of doing it all because he has all the tools. So with the combination of data and tools, then you can start having like real automation where you're gonna have like everything done automatically. Basically, that's pretty much the summary of the entire course. Any questions?
Yeah, I have a question, Alejandro. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, where am I? Oh, okay. Oh, so on this, on that setup, you were using OpenClaw, right?
And one of the setups, I have many agents running right now. One of them is in OpenClaw because obviously I need to try the technology, but I would not recommend automating a company using OpenClaw for all the reasons that maybe you have heard on the internet. It was not meant to be secure and stuff. What I would recommend is building your own agent from scratch. Basically, you're gonna do your own OpenClaw. That's part of the course. I just did a little bit of it. Maybe I didn't explain myself in the best way possible, but doing an agent is not that difficult. What is difficult is making the agent have more tools and have more knowledge, right? But the actual simple agent, that's simple. That's 200 lines of code. The real difficulty is understanding how can you interact with everything around the company, and how can you gather that data, process it, and then fit it into the agent, all of it, so that it can become like really skillful. Yeah.
Okay, and I have one more question on that. That makes sense. Would your agent, I mean, if you're making something bigger, would you have like I'm just thinking like OpenClaw or something, would you have like a master agent that delegates skills into other agents and they can do concurrent tasks?
So now we're talking about efficiency. And one of the things that I hate about the current state of technology is that it's very expensive.
Mm-hmm.
So I would say the only reason I would delegate like that, like you said, is because of token efficiency, because I want to provide cheaper LLMs to agents that are going to do simple stuff. So I would have more like an agent that it's meant for, let's say, writing SMS to my employees. Let's say I'm a truck company and I need to obviously be in touch with my drivers. Well, that's going to be an agent meant for that only, and it's going to be very efficient, and it's going to consume almost no tokens, or let's say no dollars per million token, right? By the way, all Chinese models, because Chinese models are amazing and they're very inexpensive, and you can run them on premise, so you don't have to run them. You don't have to call an API. You can just run them in your same computer, in your local host. So yeah, I would have agent swarms, is what you meant. I would have agent swarms, but it's a very like delicate thing to do. I think for every use case, I would think how I want to do that. You know?
Okay. Interesting.
Probably everyone is overwhelmed. Yeah, it's exciting, but it's overwhelming. Everyone else in the world is also overwhelmed. So my recommendation would be to follow like a very formal process, like a course done by a bootcamp, where you can start in a very like smooth way. We do such a big effort on making it incremental. Like this is the typical brainstorming session with me and the rest of the team. I come with a lot of ideas and they start getting overwhelmed and telling me that they're not going to put it in the syllabus. And then we end up having something where both parties are happy. Like they're happy, I'm happy. This is enough for day one. This is enough for day two. This is enough for day three. And then obviously we have to now do all these projects and stuff in a way where we know that the technology is going to change and it's not something very difficult to maintain. But at the same time, we're matching what companies are looking for, because we have an agent that is always looking for jobs and validating against the syllabus and giving us recommendations. So yeah.
Any other questions before we close out? All right, I want to remind you guys of two very important links. So I'm going to drop one last time the form that we want you guys to fill out so we know you were here. This is going to get you a special surprise, which I'm going to tell you guys what it is now. If you guys decide to enroll in our upcoming AI engineering cohorts, we're also going to include 1 year for free of 4geeks.com. So if you're a 4Geek student, maybe you know what 4geeks.com is, but it's basically a library of a ton of different quick crash courses on a ton of different topics. So you can learn AI automations, you can do a Python deep dive. You basically have unlimited access to just a ton of quick courses. So we're going to include 1 year of that for free for anybody who attended this event and then decides to enroll in our AI engineering program. So please fill out that form so we know that you were here. We also have Ellie here, who is from our team, and he dropped his Calendly link earlier, but he's going to put it here again. If you guys have any questions or just want to do like a non-commitment, just chat through your thoughts or what you're thinking, have any questions, you guys can book a 30-minute session with him and he'd be happy to help you out. Lastly, we are recording the session. We're going to post it on YouTube so you guys can review it later. I'm also going to send a follow-up email to you guys, just reinforcing like the links that you guys saw tonight, the presentation that Marcelo shared. And if you guys have any questions, you can respond directly to the email too, and we can help you guys out. So I guess that's it. Thank you guys very much for coming. It was a really cool event, a really fun night. We plan to do more of these, so I hope you guys keep track of what we're doing and continue to come to the stuff that we host for you guys. Thank you so much for coming tonight. And I hope you all have a great night. Thanks, guys. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Good night.
Bye.
Everybody.
Have a good night.